years, the people of our country make a decision that is going to impact our lives in an enormous way.
Every 4 years, we vote to decide who is going to lead our country.
Each and every one of you should be a part of that decision since it's affecting your life.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, only 64% of citizens voted in 2008 elections.
If you are not registered to vote, make sure you register at your local DMV, post office, or online.
If you want to see a difference, you have to be the difference. So, you still have time to make a difference. Vote.
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 Votar.
Vote.
Vote. Гласувайте.
Vote.
Today, however, modern treatment, medicine and therapy can produce excellent outcomes, especially with early diagnosis and intervention. So why do so many people let fear, shame, and stigma prevent them from seeking the care that will help them most? Queens Public Television will explore these issues and more in this series, Understanding Mental Illness. In our daily lives, the challenges posed by mental illness often go unnoticed or buried, except for the occasional tragic headline. It's time for all of us to engage in a serious and sustained examination of the issues surrounding mental health care. The remarkable author Elyn Saks knows what it's like to live with a mental illness. Here, she discusses her struggles at a recent TED Talks conference.
Schizophrenia is a brain disease. Its defining feature is psychosis, or being out of touch with reality. Delusions and hallucinations are hallmarks of the illness. Delusions are fixed and false beliefs that aren't responsive to evidence, and hallucinations are false sensory experiences. For example, when I'm a psychotic, I often have the delusion that I've killed hundreds of thousands of people with my thoughts. I sometimes have the idea that nuclear explosions are about to be set off in my brain. Occasionally I have hallucinations, like one time I turned around and saw a man with a raised knife. Imagine having a nightmare while you're awake.
All of this springs from this organ that we call the brain, and that every thought, every feeling that we have, every word that I'm uttering to you now is based on some chemical reaction taking place in this organ called the brain. And that's a difficult concept in a way for us to accept.
I can't use my basement. I've been there about 50 years.
We had a flood in 1975 in which we had to take out loans and pay it back with interest, and we have been having floods ever since.
We know that certain cancers, especially the multiple myeloma, and especially multiple myeloma, which is one of the blood cancers, is an environmental cancer, okay? And they can prove it by me.
So we're here today to talk to the commissioners to see what we can do about the projects that they slated to get them moved up. And anything that they can do to move up projects that they're planning is really going to alleviate a lot of the concerns of the residents.
I am a 23-year cancer survivor, 16 from pancreatic cancer, and I just celebrated my 5th anniversary from my bone marrow stem cell. It's been quite a struggle for me, but God is good, and for Him to leave me here after 16 years with pancreatic cancer, He knows that He wants me to fight this fight. So that's why I stay as active as I do in this community.
Welcome to News Desk,
The most diverse program.
from the most diverse community in the world.
I'm Lucia Dragos.
And I'm Alfred Ying.
Today on News Desk, we'll be video chatting with Dr. Ralph Schlossman, discussing diabetes, negative effects of smoking, and the various ways to quit.
a feature story on Blissful Bedroom, an organization dedicated to helping empower, support, and enhance the quality of life of individuals with physical disabilities both inside and outside their bedroom.
Queensboro Community College announced their new free workforce training program that was made possible by a $2.2 million grant from the U.S. Department of Labor.
QPTV's web update and how non-for-profit organizations can benefit by just logging into our website. Today on News Desk, we have a special episode giving you the latest updates on various topics. Sports update featuring a special appearance of our youngest guest member, Joseph Leone, who interviews Ed Charles from the 1969 Miracle Mets team.
For our youngest audience, we have Astoria Civic Association's annual children's bike race.
Health update with Dr. Ralph Schlossman discussing Alzheimer's and the effect on short and long-term memory. Visions, an organization dedicated to helping the blind and visually impaired.
As part of North Central Queens Update, we have Flushing Willets Point Corona Development Project.
Special video that we'd like to share with you. One of our producers was on her way to a meeting when she spotted something very interesting going on out in Queens. So she grabbed a camera and she hopped on it, and check out what she found while she was out there.
Hi, I'm with Deacon Rice. Deacon, can you tell me what you're doing out here today for the community?
Well, actually what we're doing today is we're trying to pass out some more supplies. We've been doing it out here for about 21 days straight. So what we're trying to do is fulfill the needs that they have, because a lot of the stores aren't really stocked up as they're supposed to be. So we get donations from different organizations and sometimes just independent people that'll come by, drop off diapers, clothing, food. We try to provide canned goods, hot food, cleaning supplies, which is a must.
I guess the worst day, I get a little choked up on it, forgive me. Actually, there were 3 days that were my worst days. As the commander of a company that were in the woods, 2 of my men tripped booby traps 2 different times and were killed. And whenever I go to the wall down in Washington, I go and see Sergeant Sisler and Private Bell. Their names are on the wall, and I more or less blame myself. Maybe there's something I could have or should have done that they wouldn't have hit a tripwire. Maybe if I made them go 10 yards to the left or 5 yards slower or 10 minutes slower or whatever, maybe that wouldn't have happened. And the third tragic to me was in Vietnam, I had an artillery officer who was assigned to me. So in case we needed artillery, he could call in the artillery more accurately. I was trained to do it, but not like him. He was an expert, was an expert in his field. What transpired was we had a 3-day stand down, which was a break, so to speak. And the other battalion, the artillery commander, called him and asked him if he wanted to go to an operation that was going on for the next couple of days. He came to me and asked me, and I told him, I said, look, Chuck, I said, you should be there. I said, we're going to be here. That's your business. That's what you're trained for. Heavy stuff. What we were at the moment were light. I said, you should go there. He said, only go if you let me go. And I said, I'll let you go. And he was killed.
Blissful Bedrooms is a not-for-profit organization that is comprised totally of volunteers, and what we do is we transform the bedrooms of young individuals who are severely disabled and wheelchair dependent. They're also economically challenged, and they spend a lot of time in their bedrooms. Blissful Bedrooms depends on the involvement of compassionate individuals from the community. To learn more about how you can help, please visit our website, www.blissfulbedrooms.org.
Well, we're set for a CUNY South Division matchup tonight here from York College in Jamaica, Queens. Joe Massey, along with John Sorense and Sean Couch. Happy to have everybody with us. Happy to have you along, fellas. It's an interesting matchup tonight because neither of these ball clubs, we don't want to start out with a negative, but neither of these ball clubs have been able to compile very many CUNY wins.
No, both teams are having a little bit of a down year. But there's still a little bit of hope for both teams because the last playoff spot is on the line. A win by either team could go a long way to cementing that final playoff spot.
York is 1-8 in the CUNY, and Medgar Evers is yet to win a game in the CUNY. They're 0-9. In fact, the win for York
it was against Medgar. Yeah.
It was against Medgar Evers. It's 1-6, by the way, for the York Cardinals is what we have on here. So that was their only win. However, we will get a look at some pretty talented young players for York. And right off the bat, York has the ball, and they work it around on the perimeter. Now they try to go.
Hello, I'm Rosalind Nieves.
And I'm Cliff Jacobs.
Welcome to Queens Update. Today's program is designed to provide members of the community with an opportunity to express their thoughts and concerns about issues that are affecting teens in America.
In a minute, we are going to have an open discussion with a group of students from Floral Park, Sewanaka, Frank Carey, and Elmont Memorial High Schools. Thank you for joining us.
What are impacting teens today?
I frankly think there's just too much homework.
Too much.
There's just way too much stuff to do.
Now, is that a serious issue?
Yeah, that's a serious issue.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, and what kind of grades are you getting?
Well, I usually get like around like A's and B's. I at least try.
So why do so many people let fear, shame, and stigma prevent them from seeking the care that will help them most? Queens Public Television will explore these issues and more in this series, Understanding Mental Illness. In the past, people feared that a diagnosis of mental illness meant a life sentence of institutionalization. But today, locally based outpatient clinics allow many people with mental illnesses to remain at home in their communities while receiving treatment. With the valuable support of families and friends, they can move toward recovery. One such facility is Pride of Judea in Douglaston, Queens. Here, people who suffer from sudden emotional shock or trauma can find support. Just recently married, Jackie and Victor celebrated his new job with a trip to a nearby resort. Tragically, it would be the start of a much longer journey for Jackie.
My husband got a good job with the laborers union, and we both had the time off to go away for a few days, which we had wanted to do. So we were supposed to go to Mohegan Sun, but we went down to Atlantic City. And we were staying in a big hotel down there, and we were winning some money. And I went up to the room, and he stayed downstairs to play another game of blackjack. And he never came back to the room, so I had reported him missing, called the police, called the hospitals. And 5 hours later, the detectives came to my room to tell me that he was murdered while being robbed of his personal belongings and the money that we had won.
Many forms of expression and social interaction, and one of them is dance. Queens Art Express is a home of some of the most prominent dance and movement artists in Queens. I would like to present Valerie Green, the creator of This Is the Last Cross-Pollination Ever.
Hi, my name is Valerie Green, and right now I'm at Green Space, which is the home of my company, Dance Entropy. And Dance Entropy is a Queens-based modern dance company. We're a not-for-profit organization here in Long Island City. And in this space here, it is the home of my dance company. It is also a rehearsal studio, so all day long there's different choreographers and dance companies coming here and making work. So it's a kind of space that is for choreographers to make the work that you eventually see on the stage somewhere. So it's a rehearsal studio. Today is the event called Cross-Pollination. And Cross-Pollination has been a program that's been running for 4 years, and it's a special program because it cross-pollinates the arts. We have movers that are moving. There might be visual artists, there could be musicians, and it's a spontaneous environment for artists to do their thing and be inspired by one another and make
My name is Nicole Bailey. I'm the founder and principal of the Learning Tree Multicultural School located in Corona, New York. Basically, the mission of our school is to nurture children, to teach them to be productive members of society, and to be able to compete with the world. We are really excited today because we're having this event honoring the Tuskegee Airmen. And we're excited because the children are here. We're excited because our children know about them. They didn't just learn about them when they saw the movie come out. In our school, students in kindergarten through 8th grade learn Black Studies, which is American history, but we find the need to make sure they have all of the history for America. And we're excited because when they come and they see these young, I call them young men. When we see these young men, these Tuskegee Airmen that fought for our country, that they persevered, through so many hardships and racism and what have you. And I want my children from the Learning Tree, as well as children around the world, to know that you can do anything, you can be anything. You have to hang in there, you have to do your best. Excellence is the word.